My suspicion is that Elon really wants to pursue AI. This is not a flavor of the day for Musk. He's been talking about this for the last decade. And of course, in the last month, he has been hinting about a ChatGPT competitor.
The New York Times and Wall Street Journal are reporting that NBC Universal's head of advertising, Linda Yaccarino, is in talks to become the new CEO of Twitter, citing people with knowledge of the matter. NBC Universal is a parent company of this network. Those reports coming shortly after Elon Musk tweeted, "Excited to announce that I've hired a new CEO for X Twitter. She will be starting in 6 weeks."
First of all, that person's a puppet. Okay, that person is not a real CEO. Remember, he wholly owns this company, and he's on the hook for probably still $12 billion in debt for it. So that person's going to be doing exactly what he wants to be doing. And I do think the knee-jerk reaction in Tesla makes some sense. Is a huge overhang that he is spending his nights on a cot in the Twitter headquarters and trying to retool something that frankly is over. It's done. Twitter's dead. Put a fork in it.
In this video, Elon Musk is a busy boy. Media and analysts react to the news of a new Twitter CEO, how it might impact Tesla and Tesla stock, plus some Tesla analysts talk Tesla pricing, margins, and the overall automotive industry. And by the way, thank you so much to everybody who subscribed for exclusive Twitter content. There's now over 1,100 of you, and it's been just under 1 month. I'm absolutely blown away by the support. For those who don't know, I'm posting loads of exclusive content, predominantly videos, but other bits and pieces there as well. So if you want more content, you definitely want to subscribe over on Twitter. It's the only platform I can completely freely share my thoughts, opinions, and ideas without any fear of cancellation. And if that's not enough exclusive content, check the links in the pinned comment. You can join Patreon to unlock over 300 exclusive videos and still counting fast.
First of all, that person's a puppet. Okay, that person is not a real CEO. Remember, he wholly owns this company, and he's on the hook for probably still $12 billion in debt for it. So that person's going to be doing exactly what he wants to be doing. And I do think the knee-jerk reaction in Tesla makes some sense. Is a huge overhang that he is spending his nights on a cot in the Twitter headquarters and trying to retool something that frankly is over. It's done. Twitter's dead. Put a fork in it.
Well, what do you know? Everybody's favorite vagina. Wait, anchor. Sorry, slip of the tongue, I swear. Who's permanently, endlessly bearish about Tesla, appears to have an emotional disdain for Elon Musk, seems incapable of any rational, logical, or reasonable discussion or thought regarding anything at all to do with Elon Musk, telling the world that Twitter is dead. If it wasn't so sad, if this guy wasn't that deluded, it'd be kind of funny, but it's just sad. Twitter is going to become one of the world's most valuable companies over the next 5 to 10 years. Put a fork in that.
Julie?
I mean, I think it's interesting if we think about Twitter overall, right? It's not just that it has to work. It's these major debt payments. They are connected to Tesla stock, right? The value of Twitter is actually connected to the value of Tesla stock. So if Twitter starts to really flail as it has, or I should say continues to flail as it has, it actually has an impact for Tesla shareholders because he's going to have to sell more of his stock in order to make the debt payments. So I actually think they're still very much interlinked. Again, I totally agree this is going to be a puppet. But I just think that it's naive to think, it's all clear, he's going to be focusing on Tesla and we have nothing to worry about. He's still focused on Tesla. He changes the price every other day. He's definitely still working out there.
While I'm not exactly sure Elon Musk is himself manually changing pricing on Tesla products globally, I do take her point. The guy's not distracted. Tesla continues to execute. Elon Musk has an uncanny ability to do far more than any human being is capable of. The only logical conclusion is obviously an alien, but we kind of knew that already, right?
Bonawyn.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the surface, right, I think a lot of times Tesla, particularly when you see news, it's like a headline-driven, I think Dan mentioned a mania type of driven or profit type of driven. You called it a cult, if I remember correctly, on perhaps one of our shows.
No.
Hold on.
You're mischaracterizing what I'm saying. I've said that around Elon, not about Twitter.
My apologies.
Twitter.
This is just so amazing. I feel bad, but the guy's on a mainstream finance media outlet, so fair game, right? This is one emotionally damaged human being. He has, if I recall, referred to Tesla as a cult. His co-anchor there was describing Dan's comments around Tesla, not Twitter. Dan appeared to get rather butthurt rather quickly. I mean, rewind that clip and watch his face. His demeanor clearly has something embedded firmly up his rear end, getting super butthurt over a co-anchor accurately describing how Dan has previously referred to Tesla. Of course, Dan, oh no, you're mischaracterizing. I never said that about Twitter. His co-anchor was referring to Tesla, but put that to the side. Instead, I was referring to Elon Musk, which kind of makes my whole fucking point. For whatever reason, Dan just does not like Elon Musk. Now, I could speculate as to why that may be. Perhaps Dan feels a little bit inferior in the shadow of Elon Musk. No, that would never be the case. No, he's definitely got legitimate reasons for not liking Elon Musk, and it's got nothing to do with his own psychology, his own self-esteem, and his own perceived shortcomings. As I said earlier, Dan simply cannot have a rational or logical discussion about anything at all to do with Elon Musk. As I've said in the past, I genuinely think Dan's now just on the panel for entertainment value, so his co-anchors can gently rib him. Have you guys ever been in a situation socially where there's somebody who's so dumb they don't realize they're the butt of the jokes, and everyone's low-key laughing but not actually laughing out loud at said person? This is the experience of Dan every time he opens his mouth on the CNBS panel, as it relates to Tesla, Twitter, or Elon Musk, in my opinion.
One is, I think a lot of times the share price reacts off of things that aren't necessarily material to the company when it pertains to operations. So I think Elon has always been involved when it comes to Tesla. Again, apologies, Dan. I think now the headline does definitely give a bit of a lift because the perception is that he's now spending the time that I would argue and purport that he already was spending. The guy is laser focused on what he's doing, but I do think this at least gives some reprieve to the pressure that's been on the stock.
I guess sometime between now and when the new Twitter CEO formally takes on her role, we should see the Twitter overhang completely lift from Tesla stock, right? Time will tell. I can, however, confirm Elon Musk is absolutely, right now, extremely hands-on with Twitter. It's quite obvious that he's spending a lot of time thinking about and working on the problem. I can speak from personal experience, I won't go into details, but it's quite clear Elon is treating this like one of his babies. It's quite obvious that Elon is laser focused on launching Twitter content. And obviously you've been able to post content previously, you've been able to post videos previously, but it's obvious that Musk wants to directly compete with YouTube. We've seen variable playback speed buttons recently implemented, a lot of other features coming soon. Elon's obviously reading feedback, soliciting feedback, hearing suggestions, implementing them. The team are on it. Won't be too long before creators, much like on YouTube, can run ads on their content and start making a living from free content, not just subscriptions. Then obviously Twitter subscriptions is a big one. Elon's loudly and proudly doing his best to support creators on the Twitter platform. Can't count the number of tweets where he has replied to somebody saying I'm subscribed after they've launched their Twitter subscription content. And this is a great way to incentivize creators to join the platform and or create content for the platform. And by the way, great opportunity to once again thank everybody who subscribed to my Twitter. There's now more than 1,100 of you. Absolutely insane. It's been less than a month. There are a lot of accounts on Twitter today who have millions of followers who could easily open the floodgates if they can add value and create subscriber-only content. They could essentially produce a full-time salary just from Twitter subscriptions revenue in almost no time at all. And I suspect over the next couple of years, Elon is still going to be laser focused on Twitter, rolling out new features, competing directly with YouTube, competing directly with Patreon, potentially competing directly with Tinder. But a new CEO at least will change the optics a little bit, can allow Elon to focus on product and technology as opposed to the boring shit like getting advertisers on board.
The New York Times and Wall Street Journal are reporting that NBC Universal's head of advertising, Linda Yaccarino, is in talks to become the new CEO of Twitter, citing people with knowledge of the matter. NBC Universal is a parent company of this network. Those reports coming shortly after Elon Musk tweeted, "Excited to announce that I've hired a new CEO for X Twitter. She will be starting in 6 weeks." Musk wrote he would transition to become executive chair and CTO of the company. For more on this, let's bring in Gene Munster, Deepwater Asset Management Managing Partner. Gene, great to see you. I thought it was interesting that Twitter stock yesterday, intraday, got a pop on this, the assumption being that Elon will have more time to spend on Tesla. And so I'm wondering if you think that is the right verdict here.
It's fractionally the right verdict. This is undoubtedly good news for personally Elon Musk. It's a fractional positive for Tesla. And the reason why is, well, it's clear that his role as CEO is moving in a different direction. He's still going to have a role at Twitter, so as a product person, so there's going to be time that's going to be allocated for that. And separately, his passions don't end at Tesla. Obviously, we have SpaceX, Neuralink, you have the Boring Company, and there is Enter from stage right, the X.AI company. And I think this is the piece why investors should only view this as Tesla investors as a fractional positive. My suspicion is that Elon really wants to pursue AI. This is not a flavor of the day for Musk. He's been talking about this for the last decade. And of course, in the last month, he has been hinting about a ChatGPT competitor.
At this point in time, it's obvious Elon's going to try for the second time now to create an AI-based company that doesn't unintentionally lead to the end of civilization and or humanity as we know it. Most folks who've endured as much professional pain as Elon Musk in their lifetime would be well and truly retired by now. I think the only logical conclusion is Elon Musk is a sucker for punishment. The guy's just built different, and thank there are few other humans on Earth with the intellectual capacity and the ability to execute and solve the kind of problems that Musk and his companies are solving. No Elon, no SpaceX. No Elon, no electric vehicle transition. No Elon, no free speech. You get the point, right? It's reasonable to say that humanity is far better off for having Elon Musk. I'm not being a D-rider here. These are just the facts. It's almost as if Elon Musk's goal, his objective in life, is to be as useful as possible. I think it's fair to say that of all the people on Earth, Elon's definitely up there in terms of maximizing his potential. Meanwhile, most of the folks watching this video spent half of the weekend jerking off and playing video games. I'm not judging, I'm just observing.
And so he has a lot of capacity. This is a fractional positive when it comes for Tesla shareholders. There's much bigger news coming on the Tesla front in the next 1 to 2 years, of course. The company's been hinting that there'll be a new CEO there as well. And so any of the positives related to this development need to be taken in the context of what's going to happen over the next 1 to 2 years with Tesla's CEO role.
So within the context of your theory that he's going to spend more time on AI and AI projects, should Meta, should Microsoft, should Alphabet, should they be concerned about a competitor coming down the pipe?
The answer to that question is quite obviously yes. If Elon Musk announces he'll be competing with your company, you have two options, two choices. One, keep trying and lose, or give the up. Either way, same outcome. You know how Google's an AI company, but they also own YouTube? Guess what? Twitter's going to become an AI company, and it's also going to be directly competing with YouTube. You know how Facebook/Meta is predominantly a social media and advertising platform? Guess what? Same with Twitter. I could keep going. There are no doubt many companies right now currently the bed if they have any sense whatsoever. When Elon Musk describes X/Twitter as the everything app, he ain't joking. Nothing is off limits. The banking system, the entire banking system, in big trouble. AI in big trouble. Social media in big trouble. That includes video-based platforms like TikTok and YouTube. It's going to be a very interesting decade.
Well, at this point, probably not concerned. I think as soon as he really formulates his team, and Elon talks about a lot of things, I think he is going to pursue this. I think once a product is formulated, then there probably should be some concern. And I think he has. It's debatable how much recruiting power he has. I think he still has incredible power to bring in great talent. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, it's just a very small group of people that are making massive advancements. Everything that we've seen, or most of what we have seen across the board from AI, has been driven by three companies, essentially. OpenAI has been one of the biggest. They're creating plugins for other companies to power these experiences. And so you have this land grab for talent. Elon is capable of doing it. So to answer your question, Melissa, I think some of the other big companies should be concerned about Musk and his potential about creating some disruption in AI, depending on the team that he ultimately brings together. That's still unclear. And it is worth a footnote on this, is Elon has been all over the board on the topic of artificial intelligence. He's talked about this being potentially the end of humanity. He ended their investor event back in March with a somber assessment of AI. He said that the development of it needs to be slowed down. But on the flip side, he wants to have this X.AI company, and separately, obviously, AI is a big piece of autonomy, and that's kind of the whole value proposition for shareholders long term with Tesla, is to build FSD.
Just want to add some context amongst his comments there about Elon being all over the board in terms of AI. 2014, Elon co-founds OpenAI. The whole point of this company, to maximally reduce the probability that AI goes rogue, resulting in a suboptimal outcome for humanity. Eventually, Elon Musk, after predominantly funding the company, decides to part way next minute. OpenAI, whose mission was intended to be open source and not for profit, suddenly takes a gigantic multi-billion-dollar investment from Microsoft and becomes Microsoft's bitch. In addition, ChatGPT is launched, and it turns out ChatGPT is woke as fuck. Politically correct. It won't actually tell you the truth. In certain situations, Instead of telling you the answer, it says, I better not say that. Someone might get butt hurt, so I'm not telling you the answer. If you can't understand why that's a f***ing problem, teaching AI to lie, especially when you're trying to create benign AI that doesn't unintentionally or intentionally result in the end of humanity, you got rocks in your head. So that's how Elon's first foray into AI started out. Tries to create a beneficial AI company, co-founds it not for profit, next minute it's for profit and it's closed source. Wouldn't that be ironic? So if it turns out OpenAI leads to the end of humanity, what's that saying? Fate loves irony. Of course, Tesla's vision-based system isn't, at least for now, on the path to artificial general intelligence. Eventually, it may get there. It's building huge foundational elements. So these are distinct. OpenAI was always intended as pushing AI forward, eventually toward artificial general intelligence, but doing so in a way that's open, transparent, and not for profit. That didn't work out. Twitter AI is going to be attempt number 2 at Elon for that very original mission of OpenAI almost a decade ago. So Elon's always been very, very cautious about AI and the risks. I mean, anyone who does their homework on this stuff won't be sleeping very well at night. There's a lot of ways that AI can go awry. It's not like AI is going to be programmed to destroy humanity, but man, the number of scenarios, the known scenarios that things could go pear-shaped, near infinite. And then there are many unknown scenarios we can't even imagine as well. I'm extremely optimistic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a doomsayer here, but I do have a brain and I have used it to think about potential scenarios and outcomes with AI. And it deeply concerns me. I lose more sleep about this than anything else. Just wanted to clear that up in case anyone got the impression that Elon Musk has been changing his mind about AI. Oh, it could be bad. No, it's definitely going to be good. No, that's not the case. From day one, he's been very, very cautious. Wisely so. It seems like there's a recurring thought, a voice in Elon's head. Every now and then he thinks about an existential problem, thinks, can anyone else do this? Is anyone else going to do this? Is anyone else working on this? Are they capable of solving this? No? Oh, for fucking sake, not again. I'm going to have to do it myself, aren't I? God fucking damn it. I'm pretty sure this is the exact voice in Elon's head before he decided to start Tesla, SpaceX, to buy Twitter, a Neuralink, boring company, on and on and on and on.
If there's something that we have learned from Elon Musk's ownership of Twitter, his involvement there and his ability to juggle time and juggle projects, or maybe inability, depending on your viewpoint, is it clear here that it's okay for Tesla to lose its CEO, for him to transition away, that there won't be that, maybe 3 years ago, we would have thought there would have been a huge sell-off in Tesla stock if he announced that he was stepping down. Maybe not so much the case anymore.
Agree. I think that there would be a sell-off. I think that, but it would have been a run for the exits. I think 3 years ago, when the company was on pins and needles, it's in a very different place in terms of its cash position today. And separately, I think it's showed that it can operate without it. I think their CFO, Zach Kirkhorn, doesn't get as much credit as he deserves for keeping things moving, and I think that they've got a good product roadmap. And I think what is probably most important related to the conversation, which we're going to be having in a year or two about Musk leaving as CEO of Tesla, was probably more important is what his new role will be there. And it's a high probability that it's going to be some sort of a product role. As long as he's involved with the company in a product role, I think investors will generally be happy.
All fair points, including the fact that 3-4 years ago, it would have been a train wreck if Elon left as CEO. End of the world. Investors would have panicked big time. Today, Tesla's a very different beast. Self-funding, a money printer, unassailable lead. They've already won the decade. Optically, it might scare a few investors if Elon stepped down as Tesla CEO, but it's already been flagged years ago. At some point, he will step down and focus on technology and product. Engineering, the stuff he really cares about, and the stuff that he's best at.
The road ahead for Tesla, what is it? Colin Rush is here to tell us. He's managing director and senior analyst with Oppenheimer. Colin, you surprised the stock isn't holding its gains today?
Not really. I mean, the truth of the matter is that Tesla continues to have an important technology lead in the EV space. A lot of their competitors are really struggling on production and cost reduction. And so as we look at Elon's attention span and the depth of management at Tesla, this isn't a huge change to see him resigning from the CEO position at Twitter. The team at Tesla is a deep, very talented team, and it's very focused. Certainly he's going to have his hands full on the technology side at Twitter for sure. But right. I think the real issue for Tesla now is around demand. And I think the thing that may happen here with the Twitter change is really a repair of the Tesla brand with a certain segment of society.
So that is a really fascinating point. And people have talked about how much Tesla has fallen as a result of everything Musk has done on Twitter and his comments there. Do you think he is reacting to that by bringing in someone who's extremely professional, moving it in more of an ad-friendly way, which has to negate some of the more problematic speech that was viewed as hurting his reputation? So do you think that's partly what this is about? And again, if that's all what's going on here, you'd think Tesla could at least stay positive for a session.
You know, I think it's probably part of what's going on here. I mean, I think the big issue for Twitter is around revenue. We're certainly not covering that company. It's a private company, but the cash flow is the real concern for Tesla investors for sure, as they look at Elon, selling more of his stake potentially, which does not appear to be a need at this point. So for us with Tesla, it's really a larger picture around what's going on in the competitive landscape, but also the broader macro environment for vehicle sales and EV adoption. Certainly with what we've seen year to date, it's been actually pretty positive, especially for Tesla. They've had healthy numbers in terms of sell-through. We're seeing a bunch of their competitors falter as they go through initial ramps for some of the startups, and even some of the established OEMs struggling with software and other issues.
Tesla's so-called competition struggling with software and other issues. That is the understatement of all understatements.
And so the setup for Tesla is good, and the question is around what the margin profile looks like, and that's very much in flux. They have enough granular data to be able to change prices on a regular basis by geography, and we're watching that play out in the media.
Okay, so Colin, that's perfect, because that's the question I want to ask. I want you, in the couple of minutes that we have left here, can you take us through, as an analyst, how influential Tesla is with regard to setting prices in the auto market, not just for EVs, but possibly the auto industry writ large?
So before we hear from Colin, I'm going to share my thoughts on this. Over the medium and long term, Tesla will single-handedly dictate prices in the automotive industry. This isn't apparent to many folks at this point in time because legacy automotive manufacturers are still selling internal combustion engine vehicles and doing so very profitably, at least large pickup trucks. But over the next, call it 2 to 3 years, as the vast majority of consumers decide I'm never buying an ICE vehicle, I'll be buying an EV for my next purchase, no question. It will be Tesla single-handedly dictating what consumers pay for compelling electric vehicles. There's only so far brand equity can take you, consumer loyalty. But when Tesla is producing compelling electric vehicles in the 10 plus million units per year range, and spec for spec, there is nothing else in the marketplace even close in terms of price, performance, and overall value. If you aren't competing with Tesla on price, you will not be selling vehicles and you will be out of business. There's only one logical conclusion here. At best, if Tesla's so-called competition hope to be in business later this decade, they'll be selling vehicles with minuscule margins as compared to Tesla's because they don't have the same cost advantage. Tesla's competition won't be catching up on prices. Therefore, if they somehow manage to stay in business, their dream scenario is to sell electric vehicles with razor-thin profit margins just to compete with Tesla on price, who will be selling their electric vehicles with industry-leading profit margins, 2, 3, 4 times higher than the industry average. This is how I believe things will play out. It's pretty clear to me that Tesla will be dictating terms in the automotive industry as far as pricing goes. Now, there'll be a transitional period where this may not be the case. Let's say your favorite internal combustion engine brand releases their first electric vehicle. You may be so excited about this vehicle because you haven't seen any reviews yet, because it isn't out yet, that you may be willing to pay $30,000 more than the equivalent Tesla Model Y, Model 3 price for similar performance. After you get your vehicle and it bricks a few times, you realize the software sucks shit, the range isn't what it was promised, and it's a piece of shit. You may tell your friends and family, I probably should have bought a Tesla. So there'll be a few instances, especially around the launches of new EVs from legacy automotive manufacturers in particular and EV startups, where it may look like they're getting away with very high pricing. How's that possible? Tesla's way better value. This will happen. But as word spreads, this ain't going to last. And that's the point at which anybody attempting to compete with Tesla will need to compete on price. But if they can't compete on cost because they can't make vehicles anywhere near as economically as Tesla, they're going to go out of business. Anyway, that was really rude of me. I should let Colin answer the question now.
Yeah, I think it's critical. From a functionality perspective, we're really watching this next rollout of the self-driving technology to look at how they position that, how the technology works, and what the pricing model ultimately looks like. The message that they put out in the last quarter was that they were out looking for users, right? They were out getting customers to buy the vehicles that they could then upgrade through services and other revenue streams. I think what we're watching to see is how that plays out here. We certainly see them with a cost advantage in a number of geographies where they're actually generating cash. They're at a sustainable growth pace, and what this looks like from a margin perspective, both at the vehicle level but then at the add-on level, is critical to what the valuation is on the stock. And I think it's TBD, to be honest, and that's what we're watching for here over the next several months.
Over the short term, it's anyone's guess as to exactly where Tesla gross automotive margins will land in the next few quarters. It could be as low as 17, 16, 15% in the worst case, I think. But from there, I believe Tesla's margins will continue to march back toward 30%. I'm on the record. You won't hear many analysts saying that. You won't hear many folks in the finance media saying that. But you will hear this guy on YouTube saying that. And I'd like you guys to keep me accountable. Now, why do I think this is possible? It's called Tesla continues to drive the cost to produce their vehicles lower. It's inevitable that their costs are going to come down. Their prices can come down as well in line with their costs. But at some point, their costs will be so low that they won't need to keep driving their prices lower to still sell through all their production. And remember, just a couple of months ago, Tesla unveiled a new manufacturing system, some tweaks and adjustments to the way they put together vehicles as well as the components going in them to literally halve their cost to produce a compelling electric vehicle. Now, spoiler alert, there are no other automotive manufacturers on the planet who have a plan, a feasible plan, who've done the math, who've developed a manufacturing system, taken out certain materials, used different components to halve their cost to produce a compelling electric vehicle. So Tesla's already got the plan and they're executing on it. They're building the factory now that's going to actually produce these vehicles. So regarding Tesla and their margins, when they're producing a compelling electric vehicle for half the cost that they are today, they're probably not going to need to sell it for half the cost. It's probably going to be maybe 2/3 the cost, meaning margins much, much, much higher. Of course, I could be wrong, but when I'm not, I'll be here to remind you. So a mixed bag of opinions today. Analysts are a little bit uncertain about Tesla's pricing power over the longer term, whether or not Elon can handle having so many things going on at the same time, whether the announcement of a new Twitter CEO will meaningfully impact Tesla stock, whether Elon's going to be too distracted with his new AI venture, and yet another very entertaining example of somebody who's so emotional they cannot see reality for what it is. We are, of course, talking about everybody's favorite man-shaped vagina, Dan, on CNBS, who wants you to know he's never called Twitter a cult, just Elon and everything to do with Elon. P.S. He's not emotional, he's very rational, and if you disagree with me, f*** you. Now look, there is a time and place for emotions, but when it comes to investing, it's really important to leave your emotions at the door, because if you don't, by default, you'll be leaving your brain at the door instead. Emotions cloud our judgment. In the case of Dan, the intensity of his emotional dislike for Elon Musk, maybe he sees in Elon what he wishes he saw in himself, I don't know. The guy has lost all ability to be reasonable, to be rational, to be logical, to think. His brain is completely offline, gone, not diminished, absent entirely. I don't even know if AG1 could help this guy, but it'll probably help you. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to athleticgreens.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy. Wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it. You'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to athleticgreens.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment, see you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.